Hello everyone. So this video, okay, it's gonna be, I think, a start of a series of videos that I'm gonna put it on because otherwise this is gonna be a little longer. And this is the thing. Um, on my virtual environment with VMware Workstation, sorry for the background noise, but you probably hear the train passing by, you know. And but anyway, coming back to our tutorial here, this is going to be either a tutorial or demonstration or whatever you can call it. And as you can see, I have my virtual environment here. I have a local domain that I created. Okay. And the purpose of this tutorial is actually to demonstrate a how I did set up DD-WRT as a router x86 on a VMware workstation. Okay. So basically, uh, as you can see here, I downloaded. I have the latest. Actually, it's a beta version. I'm using this one. Is the one that actually I got to work with VMware Workstation. I tried the regular ones, not the beta ones. I tried the stable versions, and those one didn't work the way it's supposed to, the way that I wanna, because the purpose that I wanted was I want to be able to create on my virtual environment on virtual VMware Workstation. Okay, I want to be able to create a router just as my physical router with and also I want to be able to create VLANs. Okay, I want to be able to create VLANs where I could, uh, for example, have my Linux distros in one VLAN, my local domain lab on another VLAN. Okay, and a third or fourth VLAN or whatever you want, and don't mix things up. Okay, they have their own DHCP, they have their own IP range, um, and they all the VLANs they can access the internet. Okay, you can either also using the DD-WRT, you can uh, make these VLANs see each other or not. Okay, you can enable or disable these options. So as I was saying, I was able to to go with this approach, okay, to successfully accomplish this using the beta from May 10th, 2016. This is the x86, I guess is the 64-bit version of the DDWRT. Okay, downloaded that, and I compiled this image in on the Linux Tiny Core. Okay, using also the latest. I'm using the Core Pure 64-bit 7.0. Okay, so I incorporated the DWRT on a tiny core, and then I was be able to just boot and deploy the DWRT. Later on, I did, deploy a OVA file or OVA file. Uh, I exported that once I have the router the way I want it. Okay, so this way I'll post it later on this on the internet on somewhere so people can download and deploy it if you don't want to do it from scratch. I had to do a lot of research and a lot of work because I couldn't find the information to actually do this. So I had to do it myself, and it was a lot of hours spent to do this actually. Uh, Knowing how to incorporate the WRT on the tiny core Linux and all that. Be able to unpack, the tar.gz on Linux and all kind of stuff. This was a kind of little bit of a mess, a little bit of a challenge, but it was all I was able to do it at the end. So you, I first create a ISO. Okay, so I have a ISO with the latest beta version of latest Core 7.0 and with the latest beta DD-WRT. This is the 32-bit version and this is the 64-bit. The one I'm using actually, the one that I have deployed here on a VMware environment is the 64-bit version, and it's working just fine with everything. So let's see a little bit of that. I'm not gonna go through the process of how I did create all this. Okay, I'm not gonna be here. This tutorial or this demo is not showing you how to create the ISO, um, because I'm gonna be, you know, putting this somewhere on the internet so you guys can download it and deploy it and can have the router on your VMware environment. And you can also probably deploy this on a ESX and have it configured the way you want it. Okay. So basically here I have the router. Okay. Let's go to the settings of the router. And you can see that it's pretty simple. It's a machine. Okay. It's a virtual machine. I put a 72 megabytes of memory. Actually, it's a little bit more, but since the I'm gonna go through on the video. I'm gonna make probably another video to go through on how to install from the ISO, and then you're gonna see how this is set up, okay, on the ISO. And because the OVA file is very easy to deploy, it's just imported that. It's all configured. You don't need to do any of this. It's very easy, okay. I'm gonna be showing that too, and I'm gonna be showing you how to deploy the from the ISO. So here I have my DD-WRT router set up, the latest version, the beta on the Core 7 all 64-bit, pretty shine. So I have one processor, 72 meg of memory, okay, and as you can see, 72, it's really enough. It's a hard drive with 100 meg, and it's not using at all that. Okay, as you guys can see here, it's using 384 kbytes. It's not even 100 of that. And I have one, two, three, four, five network cards. Okay, and each of these network cards, uh, it's uh, it's related actually to the physical ports. If you can imagine the router, okay, this is the bridge. This network card, it's you can imagine as the WAN port of the router, the physical router, okay? And then this other network cards, it's the LAN ports of the router, okay? So this on your router, this will be connected to the internet. This is where you hook up your internet, okay? And these other four network cards will be where you connect your your computers. In this case, I have created LAN segments or VLANs for each of these ports in the back of my router. Let's imagine the DWRT as a physical router here on this environment. Let's not imagine as a if we can picture in our head as a physical device, it's gonna be easier. So port one, port two, port three, or port five. Okay. Actually, port one is this one, and then two, three, four, five, and as you can see, I have created LAN segments. VLAN 1 is BR1, and I'll show you later on the router configuration. If you're not, you know, used to this DDRT, you can say the BR0, it's a bridge. Okay. So VLAN 2, it's BR1, bridge 1, and then bridge 2 and bridge 3. Okay. So that we're gonna see later on this on the router how it is configured. So each one of this card, this is the port to LAN port to it's configured for the VLAN 1. This is for VLAN 2, VLAN 3, and VLAN 4. Okay, and they're all connected. So as we saw this, now this is the screen of the router. This is the Linux, the DD-WRT on the router. Okay, and it's a shell. And as you can see here, uh, we can go here and actually I can log on. It's the default is root admin, and as you can see, DD-WRT 3.0. Okay, uh, busy box, all that stuff, and you have the bash prompt. Okay, so I'm gonna exit this and let's go now. I'm gonna go to my Ubuntu and it's on Linux distros. Okay, and now let's show you this on the settings of this virtual machine. I have this virtual machine, this VM set up with Ubuntu 64, the latest version. If I'm not wrong, it's 16 something. Um, and the network card, the NIC on this VM, it's set up for VLAN 2. Okay, via bridge 1. And now here, this is the page of so this is the page of the DD-WRT, my virtual router. Okay, it's on the BR0, the bridge 0, the default where you connect it. Okay, it's for example on this box. If we go to the network connections, okay, we're gonna see it's a little bit slow. It should show up. Here you go. And we have the network settings. This is on, like I say, this Linux box, Ubuntu. It's on VLAN 2 BR1, bridge 1. Okay, thus giving me the IP 20 on this range of IP. Okay, and this is what I'm gonna do. And as you can see, this the way I have set up the DVRT, I can connect to it by any of the IP or the LAMs they are set up. For example, on the 10 network, on the 20, as you can see, I can go 30. Okay, you can see each other. The networks can see each other, each VLAN. So let's go to the 20 because that's where I am at with this box. Okay, so here we are on the configuration of as you can see here, firmware DD-WRT 3.0, 5.10.16. Okay, this is the latest version. This is the IP, the WAN IP. Okay, it's getting this IP from my actual physical router on my network. Okay, actually, it's getting from my yes, from my physical router on the network. Exactly. Okay, and the bridge 0 is the default bridge. Okay, it's set up on the network 10. Okay, giving and this is the setup for the DHCP server, the network 10. I put Google, public DNS and everything else. So we go to networking, and here you can see the little magic. Okay, on and these are the bridge. You create bridges by default. It comes only with BR0, the bridge 0 by default, and then I created BR1. Okay, as you can see, this is the range that we're at right now with this box. Okay, BR2 with on the range of 30, and BR3 the range of 40. Okay, and then a little bit further down here we assign Okay, the bridge to LAN, to the LAN ports. Okay, uh, this is I'm gonna be explaining this a little bit uh, into the to the interface actually, because as you as you could see, as I show you guys on the DD-WRT router, okay, this router, it has four interfaces. Okay, and it when you go on the web interface of the router, it does recognize as each port ET0, the WAM, and these are the LAN ports. Okay, so BR1 is bridge to the port 2 on my LAN and successively as to 3, BR2 to 3, BR3 to 4. Okay, so why it says here LAN 1, LAN 2, LAN 3, you'll see down here on this version of the DD-WRT, you can specify right here the name of the label of the each bridge. Okay, so bridge 1 I named LAN 1. Okay, and then you put IP address 30 LAN 2. This way I have that's the way I have organized. If and then here the HCP, and then I create a DHCP server for each network range. We are one on one. So all three networks they give IPs. Okay. This little page here, the network on this, that's where the magic happens. That's where you set up the whole thing pretty much. Okay. So this is where you tell uh, if you connect a cable to the port 1 on the router, it's gonna be on this range. If you connect on port 2, it's gonna be on this range. If you connect on port 3, it's gonna be on this range. Okay. So, and this machine is fine. This machine is browsing the internet. I can go on the internet. Okay. Uh, I can do whatever I want. As you can see, you browse. Everything's working. Internet. Pretty cool. Let's go to whatever.com. Oh, whatever.com. Everything works behind this. Okay. So now let's go to my Windows box. I have a Windows box here. It's set up with a Windows 7. It's a VM box also. Okay. And on this box, let's just make sure. Let's go to the settings of this VM box. And this VM box, it's on BR2 VLAN 3. Okay. And this, it's giving me, as we can see here, BR2 VLAN 3. It's on the range of 30. Actually, let me go to 30 here so we don't make a confusion. We don't make I'm not hiding IPs, I'm not hiding any passwords because this is all virtual and you guys can't do anything with it. So on this, I'm on the subnet 30 here, and this is the range on this on the Windows box. Okay, and that's because the reason that I am on this range, the the NIC is picking up from the as you can see here on my Windows. Okay, see, there's the DHCP server is 30.1 also because on on the router I have I chose to right here I chose to have a DHCP on the giving me on that LAN BR2. Okay, so it's on there is a DHCP in there, and I can also browse the internet just fine. Uh, there you go. Internet is working. Okay, For example, if I let's see here, this, just to make a little bit clear here, this machine, just the network card of this VM, VLAN 3 BR2, okay, on my router, on the router, is right here. The router has this LAN segment. So you create the LAN segments. This is a VLAN, okay, for this NIC. So now, for example, if I want this Windows box, this Windows 7 box, if I want this machine to pick up from another VLAN, all I have to do is go to settings, it change this. Let's go here and put it on VLAN 4 and click OK. Network's gonna go off. It's gonna disconnect. It's gonna connect it again. So now I should have another IP. Now I should have IP now from, there you go. Now I have 40. Now I'm on another VLAN. Okay. And I still can browse just fine. I still get internet access. Okay. There you go. And I say I change it to VLAN 4 BR3. And BR3 it's on 40, and that's the range right here. Okay, so if I change the VM to another to BR2 VLAN, it's gonna pick up on 30, and that's the way it's being set up right now. So I can separate now my environment. I have my domain. Okay, I can have my domain on a different LAN segment. So I actually want to have my domain on the BR3. So I set up all my machines on, I can't change because they're on pause right now. But yeah, like in my domain, it's gonna be all on 3. They don't Linux this control. They don't. So you can have some kind of control on this. Okay, and I think on this video, this is about it. This is a demonstration on the how the how it's working. How I got this set up. Okay, so I have a router. I put it on a folder called Appliance, and it's working fine. It's giving me uh, different VLANs to separate it. Okay, and they all access the internet. Why I did this? The purpose of creating this, to wanting to create this, was because VMware Workstation did not have this functionality. Uh, Actually, they do. You do. You can create different networks. You can create it on virtual network editor, okay? But you can only have one bridge assigned to one NIC, one physical NIC, okay? And the same thing is with NAT. You cannot create another NAT, uh, another NAT network, okay? So you can if I create, for example, let's say 19, okay, and I select NAT. See, cannot change to NAT. Only one network can be set to NAT. Okay, and bridge is the same thing. Cannot change to bridge. There is only one on bridge host network in that. Well, actually, I can if I have more than one physical network connection, but I'm using a notebook here. In this notebook, I'm using a wireless net connection on the bridge. Okay, So the bridge is wireless, so I can only have one. Okay, so, and on and the host only, if you create a host only networks, okay, you can curate it, host only networks. But the thing is, these host only networks uh, don't have access to the internet. Okay, it's a host only network, like it says. It does. It has. You can have access to it. You don't go to the internet. Okay. Actually, yes, this is bridge. You can have access to the internet. So that's why I wanted to create it, be able to create a virtual router using the DD-WRT firmware. Okay. So this way I have more control over my network. I can create VLANs now, and I can have, like you can see here on my little environment, I can have different environments with different VLANs and then on different networks. And you can also configure them not to see each other. Okay, right down here. Okay, you can put in that isolation, and they're not gonna see each other. Okay, and pretty much that's how it works. I'm gonna finish this video here, and then on my next video, I will be actually I'm gonna put it on this video on the description of this video. Gonna put the links on to download uh, the ISO files in the over file, okay, that I have created. So you guys can start doing this on your lab too and test it out, okay? And on the next videos, I'm gonna go through showing on how to install from the ISO, how to create a virtual router with the ISO, okay? How we deploy that, how to configure. Actually, it's just how to configure the machine, okay? Because if you deploy from the ISO, uh, pretty much you have to have this configuration here to deploy from the ISO. There is some changes though. If you're deploying from the ISO, okay, you have to have 512K, 512 meg of virtual memory. You have to assign 512 just to set up, just to configure the DWRT from the ISO, okay, from the ISO or whatever you call it. We set up initially with 512 megabyte, and the rest is pretty much the same. Okay, and you actually can put more ports. The more LAN cards you add to it, okay, more ports you're gonna have in the back of your router or your router, okay, on the virtual router. And you create more LAN segments, so you can have 10 ports, 10, 10 different LAN segments, okay, on your router. On this example, I have on four actually, okay. And then once the machine is created, you can change the memory to 72 or 64 meg. I had on 64 meg initially, but as you can see here on the router, uh, it was a little tight. See, total available memory. Now I have on 64 meg, and it has 12% free. It's using 88% of the memory, and I'm not doing much with this router, as you guys can see. I only, well, a little bit. There is four VLANs, but it's using 80% of the memory. Okay. And so from here, you can actually see a little bit of the consumption, how the router is doing. So I decided I had it on 32 meg actually, and it was really tight, so I put it up to 64 meg. All right, guys, so let's finish this tutorial here. I hope this was a good introduction to this new beta version of the DWRT, and actually that I was able to pack with a Tiny Core 7.0, the latest one in the beta version of WRT. Everything's working beautiful for at least for the x86 environment on the VMware Workstation. I have not tested this on the VirtualBox from Oracle. It probably works. Uh, Pretty much, I think it will work. Maybe I can do an experiment later on and put in more videos. And this is it, guys. See you guys in the next video showing you the installation from the ISO and from the OVA over file. Okay? All right. See ya.